Hello guys, this is InfoRx. We are the tech experts. If you need tech-related information, subscribe our channel and click the bell button. Follow our social media pages. Okay, let's go to the topic. IQOO Neo 9 Pro. The IQOO Neo 9 Pro is the most powerful mid-range smartphone that I have tested so far. Not only does it make the competition fell short on power, it also puts the flagships to shame with the outrageous performance numbers this phone was able to put out. So IQOO is back with the successor of last year's Best Mid-Range Smartphone winner for our 01 awards, the IQOO Neo 9 Pro, with the IQOO Neo 7 Pro being one of my favorite launches last year across categories and segments. The expectation is high from the Neo 9 Pro. Now, before the launch, we got to know and experience the device in advance, and there's a lot that's new with the IQOO Neo 9 Pro. From the performance, to the design, to the cameras, to even the battery, there are major changes across the board, but one thing remains the same: IQOO's unwavered focus on offering the best performance. So my friends, how does the IQOO Neo 9 Pro perform? How do we like the new design? Has the new camera and battery actually contributed to a better backup and image output? In this detailed review, I will take a look at all the aspects and tell you what I like about the smartphone, what I don't like about the IQOO Neo 9 Pro, and if you should spend your 35,999 rupees on this new mid-range performance beast. Let's go. Design. So this year we get the most drastic design change on the IQOO Neo range. The IQOO Neo 9 Pro comes with this dual-tone back panel with a red and white color scheme. The red part covers about 60% of the back panel, while the white or light gray part covers the left side or the rest of the 40% of the back panel. Now, to the touch, this feels great. The IQOO Neo 9 Pro is also very lightweight, which has been criticized as having a rather cheap feel to it, but I find it good. Since this phone is for the gamers, the lighter the smartphone, the more comfortable your gaming experience, so good. The red and white combination, on the other hand, I'm not a big fan of. While it looks cool the moment you set eyes on the IQOO Neo 9 Pro, after using the smartphone for a couple of days, I was kind of done with the red and white color scheme. Plus, the TPU silicone case given with the smartphone takes away from the in-hand feel that the leather and fabric combination offers, so that's that. Up front, things are simple and familiar. We get a flat hole punch display. Implementation and the bezels on this are super thin and even throughout. Good. The display orientation is also pretty decent. This is more on the tall side and feels a bit more narrow as compared to the predecessor, the IQOO Neo 7 Pro. Overall, this is a good attempt from the brand to try out a new design for the IQOO Neo 9 Pro. This is a design that will appeal to the young audience that IQOO is targeting. And for boring millennials like myself, there is also the plain matte black colorway with the frosted glass back panel, so there is something for everyone. Display. Coming to the display, the IQOO Neo 9 Pro has a nice 6.78-inch AMOLED display with a 140 Hz refresh rate. Again, this time IQOO is setting a new standard, like the brand is known for doing, at least in the performance area. The IQOO Neo 9 Pro is the first mid-range smartphone to come with an LTPO panel. Yes, the 140 Hz refresh rate is adjustable using LTPO technology, meaning that the display will dynamically adjust the refresh rate according to the content on screen. And while I'm at it, the 140 Hz refresh rate is also superb. The highest we have gotten in mid-range smartphones so far. 144 Hz makes this display an absolutely slick panel to swipe, scroll, and switch apps. This, apart from the advantage in playing games, brilliant. Coming to the color accuracy and brightness, here also the IQOO Neo 9 Pro comes through quite effortlessly. The display is super accurate, I put it. Through the Kalman color checker analysis, and the IQOO Neo 9 Pro showcased an average delta of 0.5, meaning that the color representation is extremely close to what our eyes see in the real world. For perspective, an average delta of under 3 is considered very accurate for smartphones, so 0.5 is a superb result. This display is also super bright. Under direct sunlight, the smartphone showcased a maximum luminance of 1,567 nits, which is just superb and one of the highest we have tested in similar-priced smartphones recently. On the lower end, the IQOO Neo 9 Pro display drops down to 7 nits, luminance as tested indoors, so overall, this is a brilliant display for the price. We're getting everything: an LTPO panel, 140 Hz refresh rate, extremely accurate colors, and brilliant brightness. The display is also very striking to look at, given the thin 1.54mm bezels that IQOO has managed to achieve for the edge-to-edge display. Performance. Time to talk about the star of the show. The IQOO Neo 9 Pro comes with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset paired with up to 12 GB of RAM. Along with that, we are also getting a secondary chip called the Q1 supercomputing chip. This is a secondary chip to support the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 in case the smartphone needs an extra push. Further, this is also the largest vapor cooling chamber on any IQOO Neo series smartphone so far. IQOO has, in fact, used the same vapor cooling chamber as the one we have seen on the company's IQOO 12 flagship. What does that result in? Absolutely mind-blowing performance. The IQOO Neo 9 Pro leaves its competition in the dust. In fact, the smartphone even matches up to the flagships of today in terms of the performance numbers. If we look at synthetic benchmark scores, not only does the IQOO Neo 9 Pro beat its fiercest rival, the OnePlus 1R, it also comes ahead of smartphones like the iPhone 15 Pro, Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5, and the OnePlus Open and Antutu scores. But that's not all. Even in other CPU-based benchmarks like Geekbench 6 or PCMark, the IQOO Neo 9 Pro is miles ahead of the competition, and here also, the smartphone is right up there with even the flagship smartphones of today. Coming to GPU performance, the IQOO Neo 9 Pro does well here as well. The smartphone obviously comes above competition, and that too by a margin. Now coming to things that are beyond benchmark scores and spec sheets, the IQOO Neo 9 Pro is a pleasure to use, be it gaming or your regular daily usage. The IQOO Neo 9 Pro does it all with ease and doesn't even heat up much during gaming. For example, for a video of the IQOO Neo 9 Pro, I did a 1-hour gaming test, and there, the smartphone didn't heat up much. It only went up to 38 degrees Celsius as shown by the FLIR One Heat camera. During the hour-long session or any other gaming session, I didn't find any lags or frame drops, so that is brilliant for gamers who want something at a non-gaming phone price tag. So performance is outstanding, that is established. What about the battery? This time, IQOO has gone a step ahead of the rather standardized 5,000 mAh battery on mid-range smartphones. The device comes with a 5,160 mAh battery with support for 1-OW fast charging. While a bigger battery doesn't necessarily mean better backup, with the IQOO Neo 9 Pro, it does. The smartphone lasted extremely long in our video loop test. It took more than 16 hours to drain from a full 100% battery. Outrageous. Combine that with super fast 1-OW fast charging, the IQOO Neo 9 Pro charged from 0 to 100% in just 30 minutes. For a 15-minute gaming session where I played Call of Duty Mobile on the highest graphics settings, the smartphone lost only 5% of the battery. For a 30-minute video stream onto 160p quality, the smartphone dropped only 3% of the battery, and 1 hour of GPS navigation lost only 8% of the battery. So overall, the battery and charging experience is probably the best in this price segment. Camera. Coming to the camera, this is also where IQOO has made a significant change. Unlike last year's IQOO Neo 7 Pro, the IQOO Neo 9 Pro actually drops a camera. We only get a dual rear camera setup. which includes a primary 50-megapixel Sony IMX920 sensor, which is the same one we see on the Vivo X100. There is also an 8-megapixel wide-angle lens on the IQOO Neo 9 Pro, but this time there is no third camera, which is great since the third camera was a bit unnecessary the last time around as well. We got a 2MP macro shooter last time around, which was a bit useless if you ask me. I doubt anyone used the macro shooter on the IQOO Neo 7 Pro, and for a gaming phone, it's not about checking the boxes and the camera space, it's more about the balance. Here, the balance remains. I used the IQOO Neo 9 Pro camera quite a bit, and I honestly like the images that this smartphone is capable of putting out. IQOO invited us to an exclusive briefing event in Mumbai where the brand talked about what the smartphone offers. During that event, and even after it, I took a lot of photos with the IQOO Neo 9 Pro, and while it is not the best camera smartphone out there, for a gaming smartphone, this puts out amazing photos. Remind you, we are getting the same primary sensor as the critically acclaimed Vivo X100, so the IQOO Neo 9 Pro is very much capable of putting out amazing photos. In low light, there is a big difference between the images from the primary shooter and the ultra-wide-angle lens, but in ideal lighting, the results are pretty much consistent, which is great. This, in fact, takes better photos than the Oppo Reno 11 Pro, which was launched as a camera-focused device. The 2x sensor zoom is also pretty decent, and there is pretty much no loss in the details or sharpness, and there's no color shift as well. Good. Low-light performance of this camera is also very nice. The images are nice and balanced in terms of color and detail. The only thing is that there is quite a bit of light flare in low-light shots, but that is something we have seen in pretty much all phones in this range. Another thing that I didn't like about this camera is that around the edges, images aren't as sharp and as crisp as the center, but that is something only sticklers or critics like myself will notice. Overall, this is a pretty decent camera setup from IQOO. Remember, this is not the best camera out there, but for a gaming-centric smartphone, the IQOO Neo 9 Pro hits it out of the park. And finally, so the IQOO Neo 9 Pro is the most powerful mid-range smartphone that I have tested so far. Not only does it make the competition fell short on power, it also puts the flagships to shame with the outrageous performance numbers this phone was able to put out. The battery and charging is also a superb combo, offering you the best of both worlds: long backup and fast charging, and even the camera is very good for casual users who click a photo or two every now and then. Of course, the IQOO Neo 9 Pro is not for camera enthusiasts, since gaming enthusiasts are the ones IQOO is catering to right now. Even the design is something that will have mixed reviews. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of the red and white color scheme and think one will get bored of it very quickly. However, there is an audience for different-looking smartphones. Overall, it may miss here and there, but the IQOO Neo 9 Pro does what you expect it to and does it extremely well.